Tommy and his brother Dave have found an old dead tree in the woods near their home. Tommy's found something that puzzles him. This hard, smooth plant is called a fungus. It grows in the old tree just as other plants grow in soil. Fungus plants like these, and others too small to see, help break down the wood of the old tree. This is part of what we mean when we say that the old tree decays. The decayed material will someday become a part of the soil, where it will furnish food for other plants to grow. Now Tommy and Dave have discovered something in the hollow end of the old tree.
These mushrooms are doing things out there, and mostly what we know they're doing is what we learned in high school, which is that they're decomposers. And one of the new things that's going on now is how people can, as they say now, proactively use mushrooms to benefit ourselves. And so we've developed something now that we call mycoremediation, and we've been using different mushrooms experimentally to find out what happens if you have an oil spill and you want to clean it up. And one of the things that's been very successful has been the use of oyster mushrooms. The same oyster mushrooms that you find in the woods, in parks, the same oyster mushrooms that you eat. These oyster mushrooms can be grown out, that is, so that the mycelium, the little microscopic threads, are in a kind of a mat, which you can put in this oil spill. And what happens is, and this has been tested a number of times in different places, the oyster mushroom consumes the oil.
Oil-eating mushrooms. It may sound like science fiction, but they're real. These are pictures of oyster mushrooms, which can be used to break down oil that's collected on mats. And that's what volunteers and some environmentalists would like to use to help get rid of some of the oil that's been collected on beaches during the past few weeks.
It's going to make a compost heap, and within 12 weeks it'll be detoxified, and it'll be non-toxic landscape-grade compost. I think San Francisco is going to revolutionize oil spill cleanup.
Two things happen when they do this. One is that you get really beautiful clusters of oyster mushrooms coming up out of this oil slick. And you'd think, well, you'd never want to eat those, but they've been tested and found to be perfectly harmless. That is, that they don't have petroleum in their cells. They are clean, as it were. The other is, and the more important one for the environment, is that the area is clean. There's no residue there, no remnant of the oil spill. And this opens up the possibilities for not just oil spills, but what about areas that have been polluted from dump sites of various kinds? Any of you who use white paper to take notes on this little talk know that you're using paper that is acid's been used to turn that wood pulp white. And we know that you can use fungi much more efficiently and without the acid runoff. There should be a little note at the bottom of all the paper saying, this paper was produced using fungi. Maybe that's something for the future.